to a B-Roll Brothers podcast. This is ABC DVD, two brothers' alphabetic journey through a DVD collection less elusive than a volcanic lair. I'm Noah.
I'm Josh.
And today we are doing You Only Live Twice.
Ooh, yeah, another Bond film.
Another Bond film, but an earlier Bond film.
Yes, we went from the latest Bond of Daniel Craig to the earliest Bond of Sean Connery, if we don't count the things that came before him, because no one should.
No one does.
Yeah, look at you, Woody Allen.
But this is a 1967, and I know it usually ranks lower in the list, but I think because we started with Quantum of Solace, I had a little more patience for this one.
Yeah, and also putting it in its time frame and knowing that the Bonds got sillier with age, but, you know, this is still...
It's quintessential. I mean, Bond. I think also because, and we're going to talk about it, like with Austin Powers and all the spy spoofs, this is like the go-to punching bag.
Yeah, this is the one they drew from the most. But,
and not as many cringe-worthy moments that I have, but a lot of like, yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We start, I suppose.
But no, it was directed by Lewis Gilbert, who's known for Alfie, Educating Rita, and Moonraker.
Yeah.
Another hilarious Bond.
Yeah.
It was written by Roald Dahl.
The guy who did Matilda?
Yes, Matilda, The Witches. He also did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, and part of me was like, well, maybe that's why some of the cultural
insensitivities were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know Roald Dahl, he was the J.K. Rowling of his time. If you don't know, look it up.
Yeah, he doesn't like a lot of people.
He does.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, it stars Sean Connery, so Joshy gets to play.
What does Sean Connery
What does Sean Connery know for on IMDb?
Jesus. Okay.
One of them's another Bond.
So let's go Goldfinger.
Nope.
It's not okay. That's
Dr. No is better than Goldfinger.
Okay, fair enough.
In IMDb world.
Last Crusade.
No.
Oh,
well, I would have done that.
I would have done Last Crusade. If they do League of Extremely
Extraordinary
Gentlemen.
No, it's The Untouchables.
Okay, yeah, that's a good reason to go with
and The Rock.
Oh. You're bashed. Losers whine about their bashed. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Also starring Akiko Wakabayashi.
Fair enough.
Yes. She was in Ghidorah, King Kong vs. Godzilla, the original one, not the new one, and The Stranger Within a Woman.
Okay.
It also stars Mia Hama, who was also in King Kong Escapes, King Kong vs. Godzilla, and 3000 Kiro no Wana.
Yeah, they drew from... there's a special thanks to that studio for using their...
Well, yeah, a lot of them came from the
kaiju.
Also, Tetsurô Tanba, who was in Three Samurai, Hikari, and The Seventh Dawn.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll just make the mention of Donald Pleasance.
I can play his game if you want.
Oh, well, sure.
I mean, I'm going to guess Halloween, Halloween 2, Escape from New York, and for me, The Great Escape.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 escapes and 2 Halloweens. You got it.
Yeah.
He doesn't get top billing because I was going to say he's barely in this movie, but it's the
introduction of him, so it's important.
It's important, but we start, and I had to remember. Oh, right, we haven't been to the moon. And orbiting the Earth is a big deal. So we start with the Jupiter missions.
Which is using the Gemini space capsules as a model. And this is 67. So this is shortly after the fire of Apollo 1 and well before going to the moon was a thing. So there's some impressive space maneuvers that have not actually happened in the world.
Right. So they're still figuring out like what is possible in space, and that's okay.
Yeah, but it's a Bond film.
It's a Bond film, but in the Bond film is like a unidentified object steals
their capsule,
and we're kind of thrust into the golf ball summit of Russia and the U.S. pointing fingers at each other, and it's like, all right. Cold War. Yeah. Little things can snowball into big things.
And I just love UK as the voice of reason between these two giant superpowers of, we don't think it's either of you, we think it's somewhere in Japan, you crazy, crazy men.
Yes, we have a man on the job, and we get the Sean Connery with his one of several lines where I'm going to say, it's like, why do you taste so different? It's like, ew.
I feel like if this was in the 90s, it's like, I just had you, and an hour later I want you again. It's like,
no, these don't age well.
Yeah. But she, on the little piece of trivia, this actress comes back in the Casino Royale with Daniel Craig as a little Easter egg person. So
okay,
they like
they bring him back.
They bring her back. I don't know if she's playing the same character, but they at least say, "Hey, you're part of the James Bond thing. Come back, do a role."
But we get the Murphy bed of doom.
Yeah, as a kid, I was afraid of this happening to me.
That was going to flip you up.
Muppets in this movie show you that Murphy beds are dangerous, man.
But it's like he gets gunned down, and the British police are like, well, he died what he loved doing best.
And now the movie's over, so this is a pretty short podcast. So thanks for listening.
Bye. No, but we go right into the intro of "You Only Live Twice," sung by Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah, daughter of Frank.
Who's done a lot of things, but it's like not one of my.
No, not one of the better. Not one of the better. It's not. I mean, it's not terrible. It's just it's forgettable.
I mean, the tune is rememberable. It's like, I've heard this tune before, but I don't know if it's like.
And the visuals of volcanoes and sexy silhouettes. That's quintessential Bond telling us that there's going to be volcanoes.
There's going to be a volcano, so keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out for that. Yeah. And we see that it was written by Rodal. That's when I noticed it. And
but we go back and Bond is being put to sea, which I had to stop and think about this. It's like, when was Bond a naval officer?
Well, so this is the first time that in the movies that it establishes that he, or at least shows him as a naval, in his naval officer as a former commander.
Okay, so is that in the zeitgeist?
I think it is in the books and in the zeitgeist of that was what he did before he was hired by MI6. Probably young World War II or post World War II naval officer.
Okay, because they drop him over. His body is in a mummified form. Some scuba divers get him, and they bring him on this sub. And I'm like, well, everyone gets to be an officer. Moneypenny is an officer. M's an officer. It's like, okay,
but he's not dead.
But he's not dead. It's a surprise.
Yeah. And them having the fun thing of you're going to meet your contact, and the key word is "I love you."
I love you.
It's like, oh, you're just going to make him feel awkward, aren't you?
Well, I liked it. It's like, we're going to shoot him out of the tube, and it's going to be the most undramatic shooting out of the tube I've ever seen. And also, like, you could have given him some air. I bet that sub's pretty far down. I mean, he's swimming up to the surface real quickly.
Yeah. I do actually believe that when he's like, Moneypenny hands him a phrase book for Japanese, it's like, I actually studied Oriental languages, and I could actually believe that. I could believe a British officer either in World War II or post World War II saying we might need to know Japanese, and Chinese wouldn't be terrible.
Having Hong
Kong right there. I could genuinely believe that Bond knows these languages.
Well, and fair play to Sean Connery and the very few things that he actually says in Japanese is not the worst pronunciation I've ever heard someone do. Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but it's like a Scottish accent saying things in Japanese, like, it's fine.
And then we get to see the sights, the sounds of Tokyo, and
Well, and he goes to a sumo parlor. He's gonna go. He gets a ticket, and it's going to be one of two times where I have to actually be impressed by an older movie. Is they took the time to show. A lot of the ceremony of it, which I think if it was done today, it would just be in the background. You'd be like, know what a sumo wrestler is. But this one's like, no, there was the build-up. They showed the pageantry of this, iconic, pastime. And so it's like, wow, that's actually really impressive for a movie in the 60s.
They are highlighting the 1960s Japan for an audience that might not know anything about Japan. Again, probably, I gotta keep it hard, from World War II. The audience had them as an enemy, and now has to see them as something else.
But he gets a contact.
Yeah, and this contact drives him. And I wanted to point out the car that they're in.
Yeah,
it's a Toyota something. It's got some numbers, and it's this really neat convertible. But the thing is, it's not a convertible. Toyota did not make a convertible for this car. It's just, and I sympathize so much with Sean Connery. He was too tall to fit in that car, so they had to cut the top off to make any scene work. So this is a convertible Toyota just for Sean Connery.
So Sean Connery's head can stick up above
it. Out of it.
But they take. He's going to go meet his contact, Mr. Henderson, at this hotel. Yeah. I have to appreciate
slamming the leg.
The slamming leg is like,
he's like could have asked. Could have rolled up my leg.
Well, and also it's like, because I don't think that was ever made apparent to the rest of us. It's like, he's just hitting that guy. Oh, it's a fake one. Leg. Well, I really hope you knew that going in.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's real. My other leg is the fake one. Ow, that hurts.
But he's literally stabbed in the back.
Yeah. And he is standing in the back, and again, I just want to play the World War II stuff again. He says he lived in Japan for 28 years. Mm-hmm. That puts him well before World War II. He lived through World War II in Japan as a British man. Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible.
He was in camps, I suppose. But yeah, he gets stabbed.
Yeah, that time doesn't work, does it?
Yeah, no, I did the thing. Is like, if this takes place in 1967, that means he was in Japan in 1939.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Unless he was like off the coast somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. But yeah, paper walls. They don't stop knives.
They don't stop knives. Yeah. But Bond stows away by putting on the face mask, which in my the year is 2022 here. Yeah. It's like, oh, he doesn't want to get the people sick. It's COVID.
It's very, very polite people.
Very polite. But it's like he was able to stow away by just,
moaning and hiding his face. And, because... 6 foot tall Sean Connery
totally looks
like that tiny Japanese man.
But he gets taken back to this office, and he has his first fight where they destroy every piece of furniture in that office.
And I appreciated this fight because there was no music. It was just like, you're just gonna watch this fight. Punch,
dodge.
Oh, there's a sword. Oh, there's a statue. Oh, there's a couch. Use that couch.
The clearly styrofoam statue.
Yes, exactly.
I really wanted to go over like, oh, styrofoam, how did it knock you out?
I know.
But, we find a safe. Yeah. The safe part is like, these people are walking, but clearly it's okay because they're in the hallway and not by him.
And not by him. But I do appreciate that the safe cracking actually took some time.
Yes.
Instead of the quintessential
turn left, turn right,
I got it. No, it actually takes a spy maybe some tense moments to unlock something, but
there's it sets the alarm off. There's a shootout, and the mystery woman comes back and saves him,
and then tries to get away from him.
And we get the first of the funhouse traps. When she's running through the hallway, and he just walks over, and the floor
makes him slide. And then I love that he meets Tiger Tanaka. Mm-hmm. And then we watch the scene again. In case the chase you just literally watched. You missed it. You can watch it on a tiny TV.
Exactly. They get to make fun of him, like, see how we caught you, you
dumb American.
But it, it is kind of the Japanese Secret Service is a little fun of like, there's like, no, we have our own private train system. We have, we're looking into this mystery island. Like, we know what's going on. We know who you are. Yeah. But we do get
the events.
You can stay at my house and use all the amenities, and you get like the Bond bath and like, oh, I'm going to enjoy serving under you. It's like, ew.
And these are scenes that Austin Powers directly quoted and ripped off for the first movie. So I was like, oh yeah, they did come from this. Oh, it's much better when it's tongue-in-cheek and stuff supposed to be taken seriously.
Yeah. But, so, he's going to be sent back to the office, undercover as a new person. And so he's like, oh, everything's been cleaned up. Mm-hmm. There's no body. And it's like,
he returns to the scene of his break-in.
There's a break-in. And it's like, and there's an x-ray camera in the desk.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
All right. And this is also like the first example of what I will call the tiniest helicopters I've ever seen. And it's like, oh, this is the tiniest helicopter I've ever seen. And then the movie's going to correct me on that.
Yeah, it's like, so we get a car chase. It's like, and it is adorable that it's like, well, they pick up the Magnum, like, oh, they're going to take him back to Secret Service and interrogate him. No, they're going to dump them in the middle of the ocean. It's like, wow, the Secret Service is like, I'm just going to straight up murder you.
It's like, we don't mess around here.
No.
We got him, and we're just going to dump him. No one's going to notice.
Everyone smiles and laughs at the blatant murder, but it's like, no, we have to get to the docks because we figured out where the ship goes.
Yep.
And the meanest, most piratey looking dock workers I've ever seen.
They tried to kill him with a forklift.
I know. But that guy didn't seem to be aiming. He kind of looked like he had fallen asleep on the job.
It's like, I actually don't know how. I'm not forklift certified. I don't know how to drive this. This is actually tougher than I thought.
It's my first day. I didn't watch the safety video. I'm so sorry.
And then during this fight sequence, we do get music, and I went, maybe you shouldn't do music because it's so whimsical.
It is so light. Like, you need to go find backups.
It's like it's just strolling down in the 60th Street. It's
I also had to laugh. It's like they obviously had a helicopter. They're going to use it. It's like the helicopter is leaving the movie as Bond is fine. It's like no, keep going back a little further, maybe like 500 more feet. It's like, and I'm like, what's going on down there, movie?
And then I'm glad Bond knew those boxes that he fell on during this chase were okay to fall on, because there's like they could have been full of metal cans of tuna or something. And then Bond died again.
Well, he found the softest crates to land on.
And then he gets captured again.
Yes, by
he gets captured a lot in this one.
Well, and it's like she starts out like I'm going to cut your face.
Yeah.
And it's like it's not so much an interrogation as like I'm giving up.
It's like, and it's like. Helga Brandt, played by Karen Dor, is like, oh,
and she's like,
you're in this?
Well, he's like, I'll get you out of here, and she's like, okay, that sounds good. To the next scene of like, no, I'm actually going to kill you. It's like, and I know Bonds get made fun of all the time for this of the Bond villains, like. You could just kill him. Yeah. I've got a gun. We can go kill him right now.
It's like you had him tied up with a knife to his throat. Why did you have to go into the airplane just to jump out?
Just to jump out. It's like, that seemed completely unnecessary.
This is completely irresponsible on your part.
Yes. It's like, when she gets her comeuppance, I'm like, you know what? No, you kind of deserve that. You done screwed up.
Yeah. And then it's like, because we need him in here, Q shows up.
Yes. And Q is unhappy that he got brought all the way over there with his 6, checked luggages.
It's like, I don't like leaving the island. I like my cold, damp weather and my fish and chips, and now I'm in somewhere not that.
Yes, but he got the Insta helicopter with all the fun toys.
Like I said, I thought I saw the smallest helicopter, and they made me a tinier one, and a quick, showing it being assembled, but in a weird slideshow way, which made me laugh.
And it's like we're almost like it took him twice to start the engine. Like you could have edited that out. It could just instantly have started. No, you had to show us like no, this is literally a lawnmower.
Yeah, and this is one of those quick ones of I always love when Q gives devices. Each one will be used somewhere in this movie. I love that they didn't wait that long for this one. It's like it's got some machine guns, some flamethrowers, some rockets. Why don't you go fly? And use all of them immediately. And I cannot tell you how unimpressed Sean Connery is about flying his little helicopter shooting people. He seems so bored when you cut back to him in his little helmet going, Yep. No, I just blew this is not one of my favorite movies to film. I'm just going to be deadpan the whole time.
Yep. No, it was a fine helicopter chase. You could definitely tell the recapture things. I'm like, wait, there's 4. Now there's 3. Now they're back to 4.
Yeah.
What? Blow. Okay, yeah. But...
Whatever. It was a new sequence that had not been in a Bond, so why not?
At least they got like real helicopters up there.
Yes.
But going back to the overline international issue, Russia loses their space capsule.
Yep. And you get to see when their engines go off of confetti in space. That made me laugh.
Well, this is the what I like to think of the quintessential 60s sci-fi of like the Lost in Spaces or those things where it's like. This is what you thought space was like before you knew what space was.
Well, that's why I wanted to put the time period of what has been achieved. The mere fact that they could launch a vessel to merge with another vessel, to meet up and dock, in essence, with another capsule had not actually been done yet. So this is... No, and it's sci-fi, and the capsule looks very much SpaceX.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, this is SpaceX before SpaceX,
and it's going to land on an island on a platform.
Yep.
Is Elon Musk a Bond villain?
Elon Musk is definitely a Bond villain. If you're listening in the future and you chuckle to yourself like, oh, we knew that the whole time. We haven't figured that out yet.
But we have our suspicions.
We have our suspicions. You heard it here first. Yes. Elon Musk is a Bond villain. But the secret volcano base, which is always made fun of. Yes. And I think of The Simpsons. With Scorpio. That it's like I just want a volcano base.
Yeah, volcano base. It'll be fine. And then we get the
early
reveal of
Mystery Man.
Of Mystery Man
with a kitty.
With a kitty. And this is the reason probably why Inspector Gadget's bad guy, you never see his face and all you see is kitty, is because of this movie.
Next time, Gadget.
Next.
Dr. Claw. But you get one of the better deaths of the piranha fish. Like, why? It's like, I have a whole thing of, and Hans will feed you to the piranha fish.
I keep them hungry. Yeah, and I just want to say, on that kitty, don't pet him like that. It clearly does not like being pet that way with your weird fingers. Pet him normal.
There is that kind of thing where I was fascinated watching how it's like, I'm going to poke the kitty. Now I'm going to rub the kitty counterclockwise, and the cat's just like,
just do one direction.
But then we go back to Bond with the Secret Service, and we find out the Secret Service has a secret ninja training school.
Yay! And this is where I don't like the movie. I mean, this sequence of saying you need to
be Japanese. We need to get you off the radar.
Well, but before we even get to that thing, I just love their thought of we have a 4-step plan. You're going to become Japanese.
Yes.
You're going to become a ninja.
Yep.
You're going to get married. And then profit.
Yes.
It's like, well, why?
Because we're going to jump ahead to it's like there's this mystery island.
Yes.
And there's a fishing village on there. And only the fishing village people will talk to you.
Yes.
And so we can find what's on this village. So you need to be the Japanese person to go on there. It's like, okay, Tiger.
Yeah.
You have a whole ninja squadron who you've said is already on this island.
Yeah.
Could one of the already established Japanese people go down there and pretend to be married and figure out the secret location of the cave?
And then let you know, and then maybe in nighttime or just hanging off the back of the boat, Bond could just sneak onto the island? It doesn't seem that hard.
It's like, I know this is not the first time that a James Bond will do plastic surgery to make, a white person Asian or an Asian person white.
But oh God, there is another one. I
forgot
about that.
I know, there's a Pierce Brosnan one. We'll save that for later, but it comes back again, and it's just as believable then as it is now. Like, that's not how plastic surgery works.
Yeah.
To not let them off the hook.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel in the 60s they could have been so much worse about this. They basically gave him a bad haircut and darkened his...
Yeah, so when I finally saw what in essence is Sean Connery in Yellowface, it wasn't Breakfast at Tiffany's bad, which is around the same time. What it said to me when I first saw it, I was like, wow, Sean Connery would make a phenomenal Romulan in Star Trek. Because it's the same haircut. Yeah. All I needed was pointy ears.
But it's like if you want to do a side of life, okay, he didn't put on an accent. He didn't do what would have been, Yellowface.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense
in any context
why this is going on.
They just said that it needed to be done, and so they did it.
But in his training, his first girlfriend gets killed by the ninja, which I enjoy the use of an actual assassination attempt.
Yeah, this is a historical one, famous for and a failed one, but it's been used. But it's most famous for going after an Edo period. But Lord Nobunaga was what this is most famous for, of using the string and the poison to drag it down.
Yep.
But nope. You sleep with Bond, your time is limited.
It is. Yeah. if it's not for one reason, it'll be for another.
Yeah. And then I also appreciated, while they were laying out the plans, that Tiger suddenly becomes like the Japanese cue-up. Here's your rocket pistols, and here's your...
I did like all the gadgets. I mean, what our main complaint was in Quantum of Solace is there wasn't gadgets. I enjoy these gadgets because you know what?
Yeah,
give and take here, but it's like, you know what? I could see it being plausible. Is it the most useful thing? No, but it's like, no, air dart guns and a cigarette that will blow your head off.
Blow someone's head off.
It's like, you really hope that you're smoking it the right way.
It's like, please put a filter on this
so I know which end is right.
Yep.
But then we get a second scene, which I think was more culturally sensitive than I would have given this movie, is the Japanese wedding scene of... No, this took its time to let the audience kind of get a glimpse into, like I said, a culture they may not understand.
Yeah, with the right colors and the right,
and
the ceremony.
And also, it's like, I can appreciate you didn't subtitle it.
Yeah.
You don't need to know.
Yeah.
You just need to kind of be in the moment.
Yeah. And then the joke of, oh, she's ugly. Oh, she's not.
I
know.
Of the groany moments, we know.
We know this is, she's not going to.
Yeah. You made a meal out of the pig face thing. It's like, oh.
And then it's like, luckily, Bond used a pseudonym because under Japanese tradition he would still be married to this woman, and that causes issues later on with the Roger Moore ones where he gets married to someone else.
Yeah, but no, they're back to the island. There's lots of talk about this is business. Yeah. I'm not really married to you.
Yeah. It's like, you're not gonna sleep with me. We have to. It's like, but we have to. Yeah.
But it's like it's that payoff thing of, what did you glean by being... It seems like she did all the work. Mm-hmm. She's already kind of like on this island.
Yeah.
Do you not think that she could have been like, hey, I've been on this island for a few weeks. There's this mystery cave that no one wants to go by.
Yeah, and when Sean Connery first gets to the island, we get one of his Japanese lines. I think Doma arigato or konnichiwa. And I just put it under a long list of Sean Connery does not change his accent for anyone. This is Sean Connery as Japanese. This is the same accent Sean Connery as Russian in Hunt for Red October. And this is the same accent as an Egyptian/Spaniard in Highlander. He will not change.
It's like, listen, you got Sean Connery, you get Sean Connery, everyone will just have to adjust.
Yeah.
But no, they find this cave of mystery that they went into, and there's gas, and they had to swim away. And then be like, well, we're going to walk to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Which my first thought was, she doesn't have shoes.
I know.
It's like, Bond, she has no shoes. That's a long walk. No, they missed her to have shoes, and
Yep. She was hiding her shoes.
She was hiding her shoes. Yeah. They find the hidden base and realize that
and their time was like cut in half because the Americans had moved up their launch. So
time is of the essence.
Yeah.
You get another Bond invention of the suction cups to get down. And
I'm suction cup man.
I really wanted to hear the sound as he's going down. But you do get the things that I think are really in the comedic zeitgeist now of the Minions and the monorail.
Oh God, the monorail is they're taking him to Tomorrowland to go run on Space Mountain.
I mean, it looks so wonky, it's going to fall off. I mean, but we all know this is because of these things are so ridiculous to us now.
But at the time, it was new.
It was new, and it was impressive. This is what a future base would look like.
And I also love, while they're doing that, the helicopter's coming to land. And I bet they really wanted that helicopter to land in the red circle. And he was just outside of it. It's like, we can't do this again.
We got one shot. And
at least he landed and didn't blow up.
Yeah. Bond goes and saves the astronauts, which I have to laugh. I know it's a tactic, but he lets the guards attack the astronauts first and then jumps in at the end. It's like, way to be a team player, Bond. Come in at the end.
I was like, okay. And we finally get to meet Blofeld. He seems quite pleasant.
He's got the scar face, the little pinky. I really wanted him to come up and when he's talking about it, to start touching his face with his creepy finger. Like, hello, Mr. Bond.
Yeah. And apparently Donald Pleasance wanted to go through a whole bunch of different looks. It's like maybe he should have a hunchback or hump. Maybe he should have, some an ear missing, and he settled on the eye scar, and I think he regretted it because it really irritated his eye. But he stuck with it, and it is visually memorable.
Well, and it's like, you look at that as of the Bond villains, this probably comes into your high. Because it gets made fun of, it gets brought back to the man with a scar, bald head with a kitty. It's like you can probably think right now of at least half a dozen cartoons or comics that make fun of it.
Yeah,
and he's just, he's not in this movie that much, and he's
very
he's very low key.
And
well, because you have to think even in the Bond villain zeitgeist, he's not extorting anyone. He's not he's like no, I want to start a war.
Well, it's like I was hired to start a war by Japanese businessmen, and I'm going, I think that's a bad idea to start a nuclear war between two superpowers. I don't think there's going to be a world afterwards, but you know what? That's not your problem, because you've been now extorted for more money, so you got double-crossed.
Exactly. But, the rocket gets launched.
And then everyone would be dead. I just want to point out that you cannot be that close to a rocket that could get into orbit.
Well, all those people just hanging out behind
they at least hid behind the golf cart.
And they did have the fire suits on. But it's 1960s, magic rockets. Yes. But then I have to appreciate the Ninja Army shows up.
Yeah, this is the most amount of extras in a Bond film up to this point.
Okay.
They had hundreds.
Well, it looked it.
Yes.
And it is impressive, the Bond layer. It's just like there's guns, there's things getting thrown around.
And this Bond volcano layer, I kind of forgot to mention, this was one of the biggest sets ever made up to that point. You could see this volcano layer from Pinewood Studios 3 miles away.
Okay.
And so it was a big undertaking, which is sad because this movie didn't do as well as the previous Bond. So they were like, oh, we did too much.
We'll make an amusement park out of this.
Yes.
But it is fun to watch. Everyone, I am sad I didn't hear any Wilhelm screams.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah.
Look up Wilhelm scream if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But, this goes on for a while. Blofeld, escapes. He's about to kill Bond, and he gets a ninja star to the hand.
Yeah. Again, very much like, I have you at gunpoint, Bond. I'm going to kill one of my underlings and then have you come with me so I can kill you in another room.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. You get not the worst fight of Bond versus Hans.
Yes. And,
it's like a better number 2.
Yep.
I'm looking at you, Quantum Solace. That's a number 2.
Yeah.
He's big, he's beefy, you don't know what his deal is, but he's like, I bet he could beat up Bond.
Yes.
It's not, Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. And he gets killed by piranhas, as we all expected, but it's effective.
Bond gets to the kill button, blows it up.
Yeah. After struggling with the key, because we all have that
struggle. It's got to get to number 2.
Yeah.
Blows up the thing.
Well, it actually got to number 5.
Oh, did it?
Because this is the 5th Bond film, so that was their little Easter egg.
I missed that.
Yeah. So.
But Blofeld has his own kill switch.
Yes.
Because what base doesn't have a self-destruct mechanism?
Yeah, and I'm sure the cat followed him because in real life the cat was afraid of the gun shots and the boomy booms and hid in the rafters of the studio for a while until they found him.
No, he just didn't want to be touched anymore by Donald. Donald, don't touch me.
But yeah, he escapes through his little secret lair thing.
Mm-hmm. And everyone swims out and escapes, and rafts are dropped from the sky, and him and I don't even remember what.
Was that Aki or was that Kissy?
It was Kissy, which I don't think they say Aki's name, but they never said Kissy's name that I can remember.
I doubt it's Kissy, but we're going to call it Kissy because that's a Bond name. I mean, that's up there with Octopussy, so why not?
You mean Pussy Galore?
Pussy Galore.
Yeah. I will not be censored on that. That's her name.
That's her name, yeah.
But they're in
a lot of
but they're in a raft together.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're all alone. And then the best subsurfer scene. It's totally not being filmed in reserve.
Not reverse filming. They just came up and the water did weird things.
Some weird things. And it's like we have to go interrupt Bond. Oh, I take pleasure in interrupting Bond.
Oh, money penny.
And then it's like
cock block.
But it's like it ends and it does the what is now the Avengers like Bond will return.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you were all lined up for the next film.
Well, so here's the thing: is Sean Connery was under a contract for I think to do 2 more movies, but because this movie was such a problematic filming for him, they to continue to appease him to say please keep filming. They dropped that contract and gave him a lot more money because filming in Japan was miserable for him.
Okay,
and the reasoning for that was because he was so famous at that point that he could not get a moment alone. There were several pictures of him on the toilet because people were breaking in to take him. His own security were messing around with him. He had a miserable time. And it kind of led to this international, minor incident of them saying, do you find, Japanese women beautiful? And he went, no. I don't find any of this beautiful.
It's like, I want to go home.
I want to go home kind of thing.
I could see that.
Him being tired. It's long filming. It's his 5th one, and he's not enthralled with the character anymore.
I mean, you can kind of see that in the...
And like I said, in the helicopter sequence of, I'm just gonna be
I pushed the button. I looked over my shoulder. Yeah.
But, as we said, it's not the worst. It is quintessentially one of the weirder ones, but
I think made fun of. Because you probably know this story, it's always fun to kind of go back and see where did all these, memes or tropes or things that we all take for granted. Yeah. Where did it come from? And that's kind of fun to see. It's like it is. I'd say 30 minutes too long.
Oh yeah, like I said, if they took a lot of the Japanese ninja training sequence out, because I was expecting to go to the volcano island immediately, I went, oh no, this dire situation is going to wait a week.
Well, and there is definitely stuff in the beginning like, oh, I know you're still doing the old school espionage. Like this could have been trimmed down.
Yeah, but it has staying power because not only is the volcano base used in The Incredibles, I noticed they used the exact music from this movie in The Incredibles because I was like, wait, I know this music.
Well, yeah, and like the monorails. It's like no. It's bad, but it was so bad that it obviously made an impression on everyone in Hollywood and the general public. Like, no, it's bad, but we all had fun, we're all gonna go along with it.
It's not like the Quantum of Solace of which one is this? It's like, oh no, it's this one. Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
So, but
it's out in space and in Japan.
Well, speaking of out in space...
Oh, did I help?
Did you set that up for me?
I didn't know how to...
our next film is Zathura, which, I like to call Jumanji in space.
Yes, it is actually part of the Jumanji...
universe?
Pentology now, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess there's 5.
Yeah, so it's tangentially connected as a game movie, but then they actually connected some of the characters with some Easter egg stuff in the background. So yeah,
you're gonna see some semi-famous actors in some of their earlier roles. You're gonna talk about some early directors who are a little more famous now too. But I would say the next one is a lot more fun than not. If you haven't seen Zathura,
I would suggest it.
I would suggest watch it. It is if you like Jumanji, it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch You Only Live Twice, I understand, but why not? You gotta if you have it around.
Got an afternoon.
Yeah, and thanks for listening.
And we'll talk to you again. Bye.
I look forward to you saying these names, by the way.
They're a little better than when we have to do like some of the Germans or Scandinavian.
Oh God, the Scandinavian
it's like, I don't know how to pronounce umlauts. Is that a oo or a yang?
I don't like it. They could just roll off and cause unnecessary punctuation.
Yeah.
There's now a period where it should be.
See, I'll just mispronounce Sean Connery instead.
Shane
Connery.
Yeah.
Look out, Shane! Shane!